Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news as we talk Manchester United in panic. Panic stations about stories being leaked that embarrass the club, panic stations removing players that maybe shouldn't be leaving the club, and panic stations because targets we want to get are going to other clubs. Sir Jim may be in, Ineos may be reviewing, but Manchester United are still stewing in their own shit. Let's get into it. It's an 8 o'clock show on a Saturday night, which is actually a rarity. So I'm very, very pleased to be doing it. I don't normally get to do it. So bonus content here tonight on the United Stand. And almost the perfect marriage. Saturday night bridge and Manscaped. It doesn't get much better than that. 20% off with the code TUS. If you don't know what Manscaped is, I'm going to lose the will to live. But basically, the lawnmower trims it down there. I'll be using that later. 20% off. Fantastic bit of kit. Trim the grass to make the yard low bigger. Get the yard looking bigger. You've also got the weed whacker for up the nose. Very good if you're a certain age. The beard trimmer, which I need to do tomorrow actually. 11 different lengths there for your bit of beard. But if you want to be clean shaven or you just want to trim clean around here and here, they've also got the handyman, which is Carol's favourite thing. She just loves the noise. Fantastic products with Manscaped. Shipped worldwide for free. Plus 20% off with the code TUS. That is right. Free worldwide delivery, plus 20% off with the code TUS. These are elite products with Manscaped. Precision engineering for your family jewels. They've got the market cornered on male grooming and you can be part of it in 2024. Use the code TUS, 20% off and free worldwide shipping. But we're back. We're here tonight talking on the United Stand about Manchester United in panic, sponsored by Manscaped. They need to trim the grass, but are they trimming the right grass? This is the question. Hannibal Mejbri off to Sevilla. Everton trying to sneak in and do something. Pellistri off to Villarreal. Alvaro Fernandez off to Benfica. Are these the type of players that Manchester United should be moving on? We'll pose that question tonight. Timo Werner going to Spurs. Man United miss out. Where do they go next? Could Wout Weghorst be heading back? What's Agallo up to doing these days? United struggling to bring players in because they're too bloody slow. And as well, the Sancho loan deal not actually done yet. And United apparently panicking, embarrassed by stories that are coming out about how little they'll be paid by Dortmund to offload a player they spent £75 million on not that long ago. Spot on title because every window lately feels like panic buying, says Taito. Well, I'm glad it pleased you. It certainly pleased me. That's why I chose it. But yeah, loads to get into on the show tonight. I'm actually going to start off with something that should really, I would normally be a bit worried about talking about this at the start. But I needn't be worried with a community this intelligent. I'm going to talk about Pellistri because what a waste, says Jar Jar. I think you are intelligent enough as a community to hold this as an opening topic. I want to talk about where we're going to do as a striker. We've been linked to Rafa Silva of Benfica as well. We've got that as an exclusive. We'll talk about that. But I want to talk about Pellistri because I don't do I told you so. I just do I'm an opinionated shit. And basically what I'm going to say is that, and you know, if you know, you know, I've been saying this for a year. I don't think Ten Hag rates Pellistri. I rate Pellistri. I know a lot of you rate him. But to me, it's abundantly clear that Ten Hag doesn't rate him. And sometimes that happens. You know, Gareth Southgate rates bloody Calvin Phillips. He doesn't even play football. He doesn't rate Ward-Prowse. What an idiot. You get these weird intricacies with managers that just don't make any sense. Ten Hag doesn't rate Pellistri. In my opinion, he doesn't rate him. He might be right. He might get proved right. Pellistri may never amount to anything. But what I will say, with total and utter clarity and fact, is that he has not been given the opportunities his performances betray. And what I mean by that is, Pellistri has delivered more this season in the cameos he's played than Anthony, Rashford, and probably not Garnacho, to be fair. But he hasn't been given the opportunities he deserves. He's not been given them. And I got told this about a year ago, but it's visible. Ever since I got told it, I saw it, and I was like, you know what, that's good information. There is absolutely no way that Ten Hag sees Pellistri as part of his plans. He just doesn't. He doesn't rate him. He doesn't want him. It's not his style of player. You've got to ask why. Maybe it's height. I don't know. I personally think if Pellistri was playing for Man City, Pep would use him. You know, he is that sort of Bernardo Silva, David Silva, low centre, small type of player. But he is not a player that Ten Hag likes. Ten Hag doesn't like Pellistri, which is odd because he's actually the only winger we've got who likes to go to the byline and put a cross in. Rasmus would bloody love him. But no, it's very, very, very clear to me that Ten Hag does not rate Pellistri. And that is why he is going to be going on loan to Villarreal with an option to buy. And I think it's a waste. I really do think it's a waste. But then I suppose you've got Garnacho, Rashford, Anthony, Ahmad, but he doesn't rate him. He doesn't rate him, and it's very, very clear that he doesn't rate him. He's not been given the opportunities that everyone else has been given. Carlos says, forwards can see how little Højlund has to work with. They get a ton at Spurs. Locke says, it's Catherine, Mark, and terrible how we fucked up the Timo deal. Now we need to get worse options. Typical United, and I don't think Erik Ten Hag likes Pellistri. Thank you, Locke. We're actively making an old squad, even older, says Shahin. Tam says, you look good in black. United forever. Thank you very much. And Mark, please wish my friend Terry a happy birthday. Love your shows. Happy birthday to Terry. I hope you're having a great birthday, mate. Certainly made better by a United Stand 8 o'clock show on a Saturday, which we haven't done for a very long time. So that's a birthday treat. I'd like to say it's especially for you, but that would be bullshit. But I wanted to start on Pellistri because I do acknowledge the fact that I think he deserves more chances. I do acknowledge the fact that he hasn't been given them. And I do acknowledge the fact that when he's played, he's looked the most creative player. I remember away to Nottingham Forest last season, he came on as a sub. He put a brilliant cross into Weghorst and he should have scored. And I was like, fuck, I haven't seen a cross like that for years. He literally hit the byline, crossed it to Weghorst, and Weghorst fucked it up. Never happens. We never see it happen. And it amazes me. It actually amazes me that the one player who actually doesn't want to shoot, Pellistri doesn't want to shoot, is the player that we're getting rid of. He is the one player that wants to actually be creative and wants to put crosses in, and we're getting rid of him. Does that not say everything about our manager? Like, Pellistri is the most creative winger we've got. He actually wants to put crosses in, and we're getting rid of him. How did he know Garnacho was good enough? He played him. How did he know Pellistri wasn't good enough? Stuck him on the bench and never played him, says Jake. Welcome to the Members Club, Wavy. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Get your badge in. And Abdul says, Onana needs a sack and McTominay needs a Fellaini role. I miss Mourinho, says Abdul. You know what? I nearly said something else instead of Fellaini there. That is actually starts with fell and rhymes with ratio. Fellatio. Yeah, that was right. Anyway, let's get back to the show. Enough of that filth. We are going to be talking about quite a lot of things tonight, but I did want to start off on about Pellistri, so get your thoughts in. Let's talk about the Timo Werner deal. It's now been confirmed that he is going to join Spurs on loan till the end of the season with an option to buy 15 million quid. I do not have any problem with what Spurs have done. There is an element of risk, but it's so low level. Remember, they haven't got Son for the next month. So I think this is a really intelligent deal. If you know the game and you know the way Werner plays, he couldn't hit the ocean from a boat for Chelsea. But what he will do is work very, very hard. And Spurs have to work very, very hard. And what do Man United not do? Work very hard. So I said this. I've said it for the last 48 hours. Man United wanted Timo Werner. We're not getting him because we're absolutely shit at transfers. We're absolutely rubbish at transfers. We're absolutely crap at transfers. We can't get Timo Werner because we can't afford it. Because we've still got Anthony Martial and we still haven't done the deal with Dortmund for Sancho. So Spurs have swooped in and done it because United have got their finger up their arse as per usual. And what will happen with United is we won't get anything done until the last 48 hours of the window, and then we'll be ringing up China, Saudi Arabia and every other place in the world trying to get some shitty deal that we then pronounce as the deal we were looking for all the time. and it'll be the next Igalo, it'll be the next Weghorst who con you all by going, I fucking love United. I've always fucking loved United. It's a dream come true to play for United. And then it'll be tweeted everywhere and everyone will go, oh, I love him. I love the way that he wants to play for United. I tell you what, save your fucking money. Get me on Twitter on the last day of the window and I'll go, I fucking love United. I'll run non-stop. Get a defib out because I'll run till I die. I fucking love United, me. I've always wanted to play for them and I'll do it for free. And you can save your money for the fucking summer. Because this is the bollocks that we're going to get. We're going to get this. This is what's going to happen. They will sign some fucking cheerleader in the last 24 hours who's about as useful as a fucking cart horse. And we'll all go, oh, I love the passion. I love the passion. I don't love the passion. I'd rather sign an absolute shithouse who supports Man City but will work hard for the team and is actually talented. I can't be arsed with any passion merchants who are shit now. I really can't. And I think that's what's going to happen because we've clearly messed up another bloody transfer window, haven't we? I mean, we've only had the last 20 years of knowing there's a January transfer window to prepare for a January transfer window. But we've clearly messed it up again, haven't we? And I'm not saying that Timo Werner is the be-all and end-all. Far from it. I'm not saying he's the best striker in the world, but he's better than nothing and he's better than the alternatives. Timo Werner was our number one option to get somebody in to help out between now and the end of the season. We're now going to work down the list. If you didn't want Timo Werner, we're working down the list now. So you got your way. You didn't want Timo Werner, but the scary thing is we're going to be working down the list now. So who knows where we go next? I genuinely don't know, but I know the reason we didn't get Timo Werner. Speaking to somebody who's very, very well tapped into the industry this morning, and they said United wanted Timo Werner, but they would have had to be working on that in 2 weeks' time because they haven't got Martial out, they haven't got Sancho out, so they couldn't do the deal. Spurs have gone in and done the deal. Leipzig wanted to get the deal done. It's done. Timo Werner will be playing against you next Sunday, so good luck. And that's what I was told. That's virtually word for word what I was told. United wanted Werner, but they were never going to get it done till the back end of the window. Spurs wanted to get it done now, and now Werner will be playing against you. And the question always is, why do we wait till the end of the window? Well, it's 3 weeks' wages they don't have to pay. That's basically what United operate on. Buy somebody at the end of the window, like we did Bruno, like we did Igalo, like we do everybody, and then you don't pay 3 weeks' wages. We've only got one game in January, so let's not get him in early because, he's only going to play one game. That's your football club, ladies and gentlemen. That's how we operate. Let's not do business till the end of the month because we've only got one game and we can save 3 weeks' wages. Shithouses. That's what we've got. Shithouses. Corpse says, I should do more Saturday shows. I tell you what, it's a good job they didn't put me on Talk Sport. I said, don't do it. You'll get complaints. I still believe Garnacho and Pellistri are good at our best wingers, says Corpus. I wish they got played together more. Just a bit heartbroken over this, says Corpus. I want to come back to that because I think it's a good point. Also, what do we want to do with Sancho, says Abdullah. I think there's a lot of things people would like to do with Sancho, but loaning him to Dortmund's probably the fairest option. How would have Chesney done instead of an Arna? That's a weird... Aberraj, that's a weird one. Igshan says, I think we can try Kubo who left Madrid, seeing as we're getting rid of Sancho, and I'm disappointed Spurs got Werner instead of us. Spurs are a better club than us at the moment. Spurs are a better club than us. I'll talk about Benzema in a little bit, Lem. Spurs are a better club than us. They're higher in the league. They've got a better momentum, and they're getting players ahead of us. Abdullah's just gifted 20 memberships, by the way. What a bloody legend. He says, we're shite at transfers. I would love a Fellaini player-style player. Sort of half and half scarf that, wasn't it? Murta will be out after this month, says Irfan. Spin has gifted 5 United Stand memberships. A legend. Watch Werner score the winner against us, says Dan. Callum's new to the members club. And also, his player Anthony will amount to nothing, says Lee. He's not suited to the Premier League. Harvard says, is Carroll your personal secretary? Blink once for yes and twice for no. Have a nice weekend, says Havard. And wouldn't Ahmad be taking any potential time from Pellistri? That's only if Erik Ten Hag gives Anthony time away from the starting team, says Sean. Well, look, I think at the end of the day, my perception of Man United at the moment is it doesn't matter who you are or how good you are. if we can get rid of you, we'll do it to save to create room in the space in the dressing room, and also to raise money. You know, honestly, if I was getting rid of 5 players from Man United, it wouldn't be Varane, it wouldn't be Pellistri, it wouldn't be Mejbri. But that's what we're doing because people want them. People want Pellistri. People want Alvaro Fernandez. People want Hannibal Mejbri. People want Rafael Varane. The shit we need to get rid of, nobody wants, so they will stay. So we'll get rid of players that we probably shouldn't get rid of and keep the shit we should be getting rid of, because we can't get rid of the shit. I mean, I see no difference to United. I'm waiting for the summer. I'm waiting for the summer because I don't actually agree with a review in relation to players. You know, if I was Sir Jim Ratcliffe, I'd be saying West Ham bid £30 million for Scott McTominay in the summer. Get that deal fucking done now. Do it in January. Why are we waiting? I don't believe he's Ian. I tell you what, if we go into next season with 4 or 5 players that I know shouldn't be here next season, he's not a Man United fan. He doesn't watch Man United. He is not a Man United fan if he goes into next season with some of the shit we've got at the moment. Because if he was a Man United fan, he would speak the same as every bloody Man United fan I've spoken to. It doesn't matter whether you're from Manchester, India, go to every game or not. Every Man United fan I talk to pretty much has the same 5 or 6 players they'd get rid of. So if Sir Jim Ratcliffe's a Man United fan, he should be getting rid of those 5 or 6 players. If he watches Man United every week, and I don't know. I hope he does. I really hope he does. But you know what? We keep getting told he's a local lad and he supports Man United. Is he? Does he? Because we'll find out very quickly. Because, my nephew, he will ring me up and tell me who scored and what minute somebody got booked. He's obsessed with Man United. He's only 6 years old. He's only 6 years old. There'll be 10-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 90-year-olds who watch Man United game in, game out, and know it like the back of their hands, and they're passionate about it. And if Sir Jim Ratcliffe, I'm not having that Sir Jim Ratcliffe's a Man United fan just because he's a multi-billionaire. I will judge him on what he can tell us about that team that we already know from the last decade. If he doesn't know it, he ain't a Man United fan. Why does he need Sir David Brailsford to tell him, maybe this player's not good enough, maybe that player's not good enough? Surely he's been watching us for the last 5 years. If he doesn't know what the shit is, he's not a proper football fan. I'll tell you now, I would give you Sir Jim's billions right now and trust you to do the right things, because I know from listening to you and watching your chat that you know exactly what the problems are. We've got a billionaire who says he's a Man United fan. Well, prove it. Because if you are a Man United fan, you know the fucking problems. You don't need a bloody review. If I was him in charge of the footballing side and I had the billions to do it, McTominay's getting sold, Maguire's going, Donny's obviously gone, Sancho's going, Martial's going, Eriksen's going, Wan-Bissaka's going. You know, you're not going to agree with me on all of these. And I'm seriously looking at Rashford and Bruno. I like them, but I'm seriously looking at them. I'm seriously looking at why they've been here for the last 3 managers that have been sacked and they're still inconsistent. Now, I'd have to be in the trenches to know, and I have to speak to them, and I don't know the answer without being in there. But he should know all this. He should know this already. And if he's walking into the club shaking hands, I'm a lifelong United fan from the area, mate, I don't need that. You're saying you're a United fan, you're not in it for the money. Well, you should already know what needs to be done. Do you genuinely think Ten Hag should be playing Scott McTominay every week? Do you genuinely think that this team is good enough? Do you genuinely think that certain players should be getting massive contracts? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Because you should know. I know. Everybody watching this show should know. I don't necessarily agree with the fucking review. I don't agree. Is Sir David Brailsford a Man United fan? Is he a Man United fan? Because Sir Jim is. He should already know. I'll write it down now. I've got a pen and paper. 20-point list in 2 minutes of what needs to happen if I'm the owner of Manchester United. There's the bit of paper. Go and fucking do it. Get on with it. Get on with it. Pellistri on loan, he's better than Anthony, says Kicking It In with Cade. Abdullah's given 50 memberships. He's on one. He's absolutely on one tonight. Saturday night show is legendary here tonight. Akash says Glazers will be forced to sell to either Sajim or Qatar. This level of mismanagement cannot continue at this rate. Last decade of waste is now catching up on us. Players being loaned out like this is not usual at all. Ray Carl says, hi Mark, good evening. Like I always said, we always have our main target, then we don't get them, then we go to the third choices again. Yet again, other windows, we failed to get our main targets. It's useless. Just on that, Ray, and I will read all your super chats out because I have the list of it now. Ray's absolutely spot on. Whatever you think about Ten Hag, whatever you thought about Ollie, whatever you think about Mourinho, you cannot deny that we do not get the number one targets for our manager. And I know for a fact we wanted Timo Werner, and he's now playing for Spurs, and he's playing against us next week. So you're moving down the list. You might be quite happy that we're not getting Werner. I understand that. That's fine. But we're now moving down the list. It's not option 1. It's option 2. Who do I think option 2 is? I think it's Malen, but we might not get him. Who do I think option 3 is? I haven't got a bloody clue. I know for a fact that we are scouting Rafa Silva at Benfica. I don't know much about this lad at all. I say lad, he's 30. He's out of contract in the summer. He's a second striker, attacking midfielder, winger. I mean, why? I don't know why we're looking at him. I genuinely don't know why we're looking at him. You know, we scout a lot of people, but I don't know. I really don't know. Alex says, I would go and get Will Still. Couldn't be worse. The Beast says, hi, Mark. I'd audit why we're so rubbish at sales. Gone for years. Van Persie, Nani, Evans, Rafael, Chicharito. Sold for a combined 20 million in 2015. It's been going on for years. 100%. Yeah. Man United fan for life has gifted a membership. You're a legend, mate. Saw you on That's Football earlier. Litz says, hey, Mark, you think there's any chance we level up last minute where we get someone better than Timo, like how we got Casemiro? Not in the January market, mate. Not in the January market. Yeah, I don't see that happening at all. I really, really don't. Akash said that about that. And Abdul has gifted 50 memberships twice. This is incredible. You are a legend of the chat, mate. An absolute legend. But, yeah, look, it's... I'm very much... Get ready for the return of Veghorst, says Daryl. I'm very much on the fence here because I think it's so difficult to get optimistic about Manchester United when Sir Jim and Ineos have been announced, and within 12 hours today, it was Christmas Eve. It was Christmas Eve, babe. It was 2 weeks ago tomorrow at 4 o'clock on Christmas Eve that it was announced that Ineos and Sir Jim were taking over the footballing side. Today, we've had leaks from the dressing room undermining Ineos, and we've also missed out on our number one transfer target for January. So Ineos are here, Sir Jim is here, and we're still experiencing the same problems we've experienced for years. Leaks from the dressing room, major leaks from a credible source, and missing out on your number one target in the transfer window. So, yes, Ineos are here. Yes, Sir Jim is here. But the same things are happening. And people will say, well, he's not got his feet under the table yet. But good, because he can see what's happening. It's ridiculous. And as I said a few minutes ago, I go back to that. Why does he need a review? If he's a Man United fan, I don't know why I'm doing that. I regret that. That's derogatory. He is a Man United fan. That's what we've been told. He's a lifelong Man United fan. He had a season ticket at Chelsea. I've got no problem with that. He lived in London. He probably wanted to watch football, wanted to watch his local team. That's fine. I'll go and watch Solihull Moors if I get a free weekend. I ain't got a problem with that. But he's a Man United fan for life, and he's a billionaire. If he hasn't got an opinion on McTominay coming on at half-time against Forest and losing us the game, he's not a Man United fan. So he should know all this stuff. Imagine if you were Sir Jim Radcliffe. Imagine if I was Sir Jim Radcliffe, what I'd be doing right now. What I'd be demanding right now. I mean, this ain't a fucking game of Monopoly. Let's be honest. We're here for a good time, not a long time. If I'm Sir Jim and I've got that club on Christmas Eve, I ain't fucking waiting till the summer. there's certain players I'm selling now. West Ham offered you money for those two. Get them out. Get them out now. Do it in January. You know what? We've got no right to do anything, but I don't know why people are waiting. I don't know why people are sat there going, oh, let's wait and see. Fucking get on with it. 10 years of this shit we've had to put up with. Get on with it. Get on with it. Why are we sat in another transfer window missing out on targets to rivals? Why are we sat on another Saturday listening to fucking leaks from toxic players who've got no respect for the club? Get on with it. Get on with it. Abdul, thank you very much for your super chat. I'm not going to lie. We don't deserve to win the Premier League in like 3 years. You might probably insult me, but it's true. No, I wouldn't insult you about that, Jarder. I don't think you're wrong on that. But look, where we go next in the transfer window is where I was going to talk about. United are in panic mode. Effectively, and we don't know this, but we don't know this because we're not party to the information and we're not party to the conversations. But what's your perception of Manchester United at the moment? Because my perception is we are a club in panic. We are broke. We are a club in turmoil. We are out of Europe completely. We are out of the race for top four completely. The Carabao Cup semi-final is next week. We are the holders of that trophy and we are out. We have the FA Cup and some slim hope of getting 5th or 6th. That is all we've got in January. The January transfer window's open. We've been moaning like mad about injuries, and yet we're sat there with a finger up our arse doing nothing. We are a walking contradiction. We're shit because we've got injuries. Transfer window's open. We're not spending anything. And that's the mixed message you get. We're so shit because we haven't got our players available. The January transfer window opens. We're not doing anything because there's no value in the market. We like to do it in the summer. Hypocrites, contradictions, it's all there. And I think that, I'm sort of confused about what we're doing as a football club at the moment because we just don't seem to have any direction. We don't seem to have any plan. It's just panic. Loan Pellistri to Villarreal with a buy clause and we might raise a few million. Oh, can we sell Varane to Saudi Arabia? Can we sell our best centre-back to raise some money? Martial, anything will do. Jadon Sancho. Yes, we paid Dortmund £75 million for him 2.5 years ago, but let's pay some of his wages and send him on loan there for £3 million. It's embarrassing. It's the same old story. It's an absolute shit show. And God knows where we're going to end up next. It's only the 6th of January. I just pray to God we don't do some stupid, typical Manchester United panic reaction and spend 15 million quid on Garassi or something like that, just to try and, win a few friends on social media. Like, it's worrying what we might do in this window. Seashore says Pellistri isn't good enough. Pellistri might not be good enough. I'm not going to sit here and say we are wasting a God-given talent. But what I will say about Pellistri, and I'll argue this with anybody, is that he has not been given the opportunities that other players who don't look good enough have been given. And that, to me, is the frustration with Pellistri. He may not be good enough, but he is the one player that wants to create. And the one thing we don't do is create in the final third. We do deals based on circumstances rather than a plan, says the Beast. Cavani signed because he was free. Agallo signed because he was available on loan. And Weghorst was a cheap deal. You're right. The Beast. We might as well leave this January transfer window and stick with what we have. Who's going to come into us other than bonk standard shit, says Ahmad. Hi Mark, what will be our second pick for striker, says Don. Honestly, I think it's Malen. And then if it's not Malen, I don't know. I'm worried we might go for Garassi and spend money. I think this would be a massive mistake. Look, some people have mentioned Benzema, and every part of me says that's a stupid deal to do because Benzema, world-class striker, but I don't get the point of it. I know there's people who will get really excited about Benzema, but I don't get the point of it. Like, he's too good to sit on the bench. So you bring Benzema in for 5 months. He ain't going to be here next season because he's too old. So you bench Højlund to play Benzema. What sort of shitty short-term plan is that? Like, at some point, you've got to have a plan, like the Beast just said. And the plan cannot be get Benzema at 92 to come and play up front for 5 months. Why? What's the point in that? So I like Benzema, but I don't see the point in it. It's just ridiculous short-termism. Do you think United could look into the Saudi Arabian market for some players as it's CJR? Well, I think we can do, but we'll be behind Newcastle. Newcastle will get first dibs on anything from Saudi Arabia. Would love to see you manage Man United and their transfer players via FM24. Would be a good watch. Maybe I should do that, Charles. If Ten Hag is out in the summer, what about Simeone? Says Steve. I don't want Simeone. Stephen, for me, it's a no. Abdullah, thank you very much for your super sticker. Also, Mojo, and I nearly called him an industrious legend. Historical legend has just gifted 20 memberships. You're a legend, Mojo. Thank you very much. And we've done that from Charles, of course. I'm sick and tired of my friends saying Manchester United fans only rely on the history, not the present, says Jada. Benzema will teach Højlund how to be a top striker, says Top Plays. Well, no, he won't. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't teach Rashford anything. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't teach Martial anything. That's just bullshit. Like, Varane's not taught Maguire and Lindelof to be better centre-backs. Casemiro hasn't taught, McTominay or Fred to be any better, has he? That's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. I don't want to be offensive, but I'm in that sort of mood. That's bollocks. You can't buy players because it's going to teach somebody to be better. We've tried this. Zlatan's been at this club. Cavani's been at this club. Ronaldo's been at this club. Are our strikers any better for spending the last 5 years with the likes of Zlatan, Cavani and Ronaldo? No, they're not. Why aren't they? Well, that's a separate question. They should be fucking better, but why aren't they better? Spide says, what about Icardi? I don't know. I mean, look, at the end of the day, Sancho's going to go and they want to get rid of Martial. So we've got to bring somebody in. There will be a plan B. Of course there'll be a plan B. But, we've missed out on plan A. United never failed to ruin my mental state, says Obi. And we can't... If Simone could abolish player power, would you take him? Says James. Well, I don't believe that'll ever happen at Man United. I will sit here with total and utter conviction and say to you, like I said this morning, I don't for 1 minute think certain players won't be here in 2 years. And I'm not naming them because I don't want to individualise it. It's not fair. But if you think about the real strong characters in that dressing room, and you might have a different 5 to me, they'll still be here in 2 years' time. Should they be here in 2 years' time? Well, probably not, but they will. I don't think, and look, maybe I'm laying the gauntlet out. Maybe I'm, jinxing it. Maybe I'm challenging it. Good. I want to see real change. I want to see ruthless change. But I don't think in 2 years, Ineos will have removed any of the players that need to be removed from this football club. I still think the power toxic element will still be here. Because the toxic element are not the players on the bench. The toxic element are the players that have been starting for United for the last 2 or 3 years. They will still be here. I'm convinced of it. I don't think Ineos have got the power to get rid of them. Now, maybe that's because of the Glazers. I don't know. Maybe it's because of a lack of knowledge. I don't know. Maybe they're going to give everyone a chance again. I don't know. But I don't think we're going to see. I don't think we're going to see that. I can predict what's going to happen. We'll buy 3 or 4 players in the summer, maybe 5. We will sell 4 or 5 players in the summer. But the players we get rid of will be for financial reasons. They won't be because they're toxic. They'll get rid of Varane because he's on a big wage. They'll get rid of Casemiro potentially because he's on a big wage. They'll get rid of Martial, obviously, because he's on a big wage. Sancho will be gone because he's on a big wage. And you might see some periphery players like Maguire, Eriksen, shipped out as well. But they won't clean house on the players that are problematic but have got 3 or 4 years left on their contract. They won't do that. They won't get rid of those types of players, and player power will win, as it always does. I just genuinely don't think they will do it. Zane says Benzema is just 36. Thiago Silva is 39. He will score and create for the team. We need to be patient with Ten Hag. Second season only. I don't get why Pellistri doesn't start. Amazing for Uruguay, says Zane. Well, it is amazing that Pellistri plays for Uruguay but doesn't get in the United first team. It is. Scott says Benzema sells shirts, Mark. Look, I like Benzema. I think he's an incredible player. But we've done this before. It's not personal. It's not personal to Benzema. We've done this before, though. Cavani, Zlatan, Ronaldo. What is it we constantly say? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different outcome. What's the benefit of bringing Benzema into the club? When you break it down, what's the benefit of bringing Benzema into the club? Big wages, has to start, benches Rasmus, doesn't get any service, fucks off in the summer. We're not going to win the league. We're not going to be in the Champions League. We're not in Europe. What is the benefit of Benzema coming to Man United for 5 months? There isn't one. Apart from people get a stiffy because we've got Benzema playing up front. But I won't be excited by that because I've seen it. I've seen Cavani, I've seen Zlatan, I've seen Ronaldo. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And you waste money and time on it. I don't get it. I've seen people going, Benzema, tell me about it. Get Benzema's the answer. Get Benzema on download. And I'm like, he's a brilliant player. Be very exciting to have him at United. But we've done this. We've done this. And Benzema's not sitting on the bench for Rasmus. So I don't really see the point, really. Matt says, I'd love Simone. I'm not a big fan of him. I'm not a big fan of Simeone, but I know some people are. Matt. Akash says, we missed out on number 1 targets under Sir Alex Ferguson as well. The Glazers were shit for Sir Alex. He just defied it. Jari says, Benzema's better than Werner. They would both have been here for 6 months. Werner's 27, mate. He's 10 years younger, virtually. And completely different player. Certainly in relation to work rate and ability to press. So, no, very different type of player. Very different type of signing. And at least with Werner, if he did somehow define logic and play well, you get him for 15 million and he stays for the next 4 years. Inaki Williams for Martial. This beer is strong, says Pete. Well, we have been linked to Inaki Williams. I'm not going to deny that. But it's not a deal that we're going to get done in the summer. I just think, look, everybody has an opinion on what Man United need to do. Of course they do. And that's to be expected. But what is it we're trying to achieve? Like, let's get Ronaldo back. He's in Saudi Arabia. What would Ronaldo do for Man United for 5 months? Feel good factor? Score a couple of goals? We're out of Europe. We're not in a title race. He'll be gone in the summer. What's the point? Like, we need a plan. We need to be heading somewhere. When Liverpool bought Van Dijk in January, they didn't win the league that year, but he had 4 months to get used to Liverpool, get used to the team, so that the next season it wasn't brand new. And we did that with Bruno as well. If you're going to get someone in January, at least give yourself somebody that might be part of next season. Something that's progressive. That's something that's got a plan. Agallo, we never had a bloody plan. Weghorst, we never had a plan. Like, we need a plan. You need to bring players in that are part of a plan. They might not work, but at least there's a plan. And United just don't seem to have that. Why are we loaning Pellistri out? Why are we loaning Mejbri out? Are they part of the future plan, or is it the first step to a sale, which I think it is? It's weird. Madge, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for joining. I'm trying my hardest to stay Ten Hag in, but he keeps making costly decisions, says Edam. And also, Mythic says, hi Mark, would you still get Tadibo in this window if it meant we're not getting Tomori in the summer? Well, we're not getting Tomori in the summer, Mythic, anyway. So, for me, I think it's Tadibo in the January or in the summer. But you know what? The way that Werner deal shifted in 24 hours to Spurs from Man United, I wouldn't be surprised if we woke up tomorrow and Tadebo's going to Spurs or Chelsea anyway. I don't think we're guaranteed of doing anything at the moment. I think we're really you can't predict what Man United are going to do. You really can't. Says a lot about the financial situation and the state of the club, says Akash. Mark, our next proper signing needs to be a leader, says Matt Casey. Tomori's going to go to Arsenal, says Brian, and a very good signing he would be. And just appoint the director of football and let him start doing his job, says Belt. Renate's been a member for 45 months. 150 new members this evening. Love that. Great show tonight. Hope you're doing well, Renate, as well. Tadebo will go to Spurs, says IK. We missed the boat with Qatar, says Belvinder. Well, we didn't miss the boat with Qatar. The Glazers refused the boat, didn't they? That's what happened. Spurs are probably already working on Tadebo, says Wayne. And no one wants to go to United, says Lou. Wow, that's bullshit. Actually, that is bullshit because a lot of people go to United for the money. I've never understood this whole no one wants to sign for United. And yet we give people who are on 20 grand a week, 200 grand a week. A lot of people want to come to United. They just want to come to United for the wrong reasons. There's a big... Look, a lot of footballers are mercenaries. I mean, have you seen this story today about Jordan Henderson wanting to come back from Saudi Arabia after 6 months? I'm going to Saudi Arabia to change football and earn 700 grand a week, and now he wants to come back. Lots of footballers are mercenaries, and Man United pay stupid wages. So there's a lot of players that want to come to United for the wrong reasons. Zane says, maybe Pellistri is going to go for Elise. They won't sell Anthony. It's Ten Hag, man. Hope we get Diamonde, Wirtz or Kubo in the summer window. And Tom says, why get any striker when we don't provide them with service? Well, yeah, it's a very good point, Tom. Also on Elise, I think that I'm undecided about whether I would go for him or not. But I don't know why we think we'll actually get him. Liverpool are genuinely interested in him. And so are Arsenal. So, I mean, I don't think Elise's... And he's got a release clause that's very reasonable. So I don't think Elise's definitely going to be coming to Man United anyway. But look, you know, who knows what's going to happen. I think that that you can walk the path of positivity, of course you can. You can walk the path of reality, of course you can. And I look at the situation that we're in at the moment, and my feeling is that I don't know why people think we're on the way back. We could still be on the way down. This season is a bloody nightmare, and we're living right in the middle of it at the moment. We're not in a summer transfer window. We've not been given a 20-point boost. We are in a very precarious position in the league. We are out of Europe. We are out of the Carabao Cup. Obviously, we're still in the FA Cup Monday night, but this season has the potential to get a lot worse. And you know what I dread? I dread more than anything is a new manager and another fucking rebuild. It terrifies me. It really, really does. And I know a lot of people want to see Ten Hag get sacked. It terrifies me. That does. It really terrifies me because a new manager will definitely walk in and go, don't fancy Onana, don't fancy Anthony, you know, and that straight away is like, well, that's 100 million quid down the drain. He might say the same about Mason Mount as well. Mojo's gifted 10 memberships. Thank you very much for that. Akil says, Mark, do you think United is an attractive club for players who want to be seen as elite, especially with the owners as shit as some players panic buys? We're always attractive because we pay stupid money to agents and players, mate. So we've always been attractive. Martin, just the wrong reasons. Shows how useless Murta is. He's looking at losing his job and he still has no sense of urgency about him, says Martin. He's just not very good at his job, mate. Urgency's not going to make him do it any better. Billy Welch says, can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't want United to get anyone. Fans will blame January players for how we finish while our Rashis and Brunos survive. And Sherlock Holmes has just gifted 10 memberships as well. But you know what? I think more and more, I keep defaulting back to the same point. One of the big positives about Sir Jim, I keep doing this, I've got to stop doing it, hold your hands. One of the big positives about Sir Jim is he's a Man United fan. Born and bred. Man United fan. He's a lot older than me. He's a lot older than you. He remembers the 60s. He remembers George Best, Sir Bobby. He is a Man United fan. So Jim Radcliffe's a Man United fan. He watches us every week. He knows everything about Man United. So why does he need a strategic review? Get on with it. You don't need one, Sir Jim. You know what the shit is. If you've been watching Man United like you say you have for the last 10 years, you know the problems. You know we don't play good football. You know we can't score from corners. You know we concede from crosses. You know we don't pick up the midfield runners. You know we can't get hold of a game. You know we lose the midfield battle most games. You know the players that aren't good enough. You know the players we need to bring in. Get on with it. Why do you need a strategic review? Or do you not watch Man United? Do you not know the problems? Come on. Have the trust of your own conviction. You bought the club. You should know what needs to happen with the club. Get on with it. Let's get working. Mark, I think Sir Jim will use next season as finding all the faults, so the real start to the new era will be 25-26. Fuck off, Amran. No way. What have I just said there? He doesn't need a fucking year to realise what the problems are. You need 5 minutes. 5 minutes, mate. Swanee says, when do you admit we should have got Poch instead? Oh, yeah. I mean, we definitely should have got Poch. Chelsea, he's working out great there, isn't he? With £1 billion worth of players. Yeah, Poch definitely is the right guy. Yeah, Poch. Brilliant. Good one. Give Sir Jim Radcliffe a bell, then explain what do you do when you take over a PLC, says Darren. And because he's Chelsea season ticket holder, Mark, says Chris, always knocking Bruno on here, especially in the same breath as Rashford. Yet he carries half the team every game. Now Garnacho is being left to do the same. United needs zonal discipline, says Keyboard Thumper. But, look, I like Bruno, but he shouldn't be above criticism. I don't think there's any United player that's not above criticism. In fact, I think as a fan base, if we sit here and give anybody a free ride, we're failing. Like, nobody deserves a free ride in that team. In fact, I'm going to find out the answer to this. Tox just gifted 5 memberships. You're a legend. De Zerbi, Simeone or Zidane if Ten Hag leaves, says Zane. I don't really fancy any of them, to be honest. And Igshan says, Jonathan David would be a good asset, but I'm more concerned with midfielders. Okay, so this morning we put a poll out on the community tab, open to everybody. Who should be Man United's player of the season so far? Garnacho won it with 72%. But I think more scarily, we are in January, and I struggle to think who player of the year would be so far. It's very, very slim pickings in January. Now, this time last year, I would have thought Varane, Casemiro, De Gea, Rashford, Bruno. This time last year, we were doing really, really well. This time this year, I can't think of anybody. I really can't. I probably would give it Garnacho. And he hasn't even started most games. So, it's not good enough from Man United players this season for various reasons. Injury, poor form. Nobody should be above criticism. And I like Bruno, but it ain't good enough. And no, you shouldn't be giving a player time off or, you know, not criticising them because you're a player FC. It's not been good enough. Nobody's been good enough this season. The only thing I care about is the shirt and the badge. Any United player can take a pop and say, what are you criticising me for? I'm like, where will you be in 20 years? No fucking where. No one will remember you, mate, because you're not part of the 08 team. You're not part of the 99 team. You're not part of the 94 team. No one's going to remember you in 20 years because you've done fuck all. And that's what you're meant to do. To be remembered as a Man United legend, you've got to do something in a Man United shirt. I like you. I think you could do better, but you're not a legend. Fuck off. No. Nobody is going to be a legend from this current team based on what we're doing at the moment. So book your ideas up and get on with it. Nobody's above criticism, and I don't know why people are scared to criticise players. They should be doing a hell of a lot better. It's the middle of the season, and we're struggling to come up with 2 candidates for Player of the Year so far. Ain't good enough. Ain't good enough by a long, long way. Here's a joke for you, says Connor. What do you say to a bartender when you want another pint of Moretti? More tea. I'll probably ruin that, Connor. People slating Bruno at United need to see how he plays with Portugal. Quality of players around him makes difference. Football is about a team, says Akil. But no, the previous comment said positional discipline is really important. Well, Bruno's the most ill-disciplined player we've got. You know, I find it amazing. Like, I've coached, not at the highest level, but I've coached. I've seen in the first 2 minutes that they've got a player that's a mismatch for our player, normally in the midfield. And as soon as there's a break in play, you know, you'll shout something, you'll get somebody over and you'll say, right, get them on them now. And you'll make that change. I'm amazed how much I watch Man United and I go, why is the manager allowing that to happen? Why is Bruno never in the number 10 position? Why is he wandering to the wing? Why is he on the left wing? Why is he the CDM? Why is he the striker? Why is there no positional discipline? Why, when our wingers get the ball, are they allowed to shoot from 30 yards when there's a better pass on? Where is the discipline in that team? And you know, you're right. Where is the positional discipline in that team? I remember watching us play Brighton away last year. I think we lost. But in the first 10 minutes, we had numerous really good positions with Rashford, Anthony, Bruno, and I can't remember who was playing up front. And they were shooting from 30 or 40 yards. And I'm like, that has to be coming from the manager. Why are we doing that? Why is he allowing that? Hey, Mark, do you think selling Bruno would be a good decision for a team restructure? Love from Mick and Gemma from Ireland. Look, I'll say it now, maybe because I've had a couple, but Michael McCann, if we're selling Bruno, you've got to sell Rashford as well. You can't sell one and not the other. If for the same reason you're selling Bruno is the same reason you're selling Rashford. You either keep them both or you sell them both. I don't think one deserves to be sold and the other stays. I don't. I know they're very different players, but you know, you either get the best out of them or you sell them, in my opinion. Because yeah, I don't think one's more to blame than the other, if I'm being honest. And I like both players. I just struggle with their inconsistency. I don't get it. I don't get it. We had a team effort last season. This season, everyone seems to be playing for themselves and in moments, as Tony. Mojo's just gifted 20 memberships as well. You know what happened last season? The football was no different. The football was no different last season to this season. How we attacked, the chances we created. There was no different. There's no difference between last season and this season in relation to the way that we played football. The football, you asked, I don't know whether he's here, Robert McCormack, he would admit it. The football last season wasn't very good. We didn't play good football last season. What we did last season is we defended really well. Really, really well. You had De Gea, Wan-Bissaka or Dalot, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, Casemiro. And that unit was impenetrable at times, except for Anfield. But the team last year won a lot of games by 1 goal because we defended well. We didn't attack well. We didn't win many games by 3 goals. In fact, I don't think we did it. I don't think we did it once. There's not a lot of difference in the way that we attack between this year and last year. There's a huge difference in the way that we defend, and that's what's cost us this season, to be honest. Agent Ten Hag doing a great job wrecking the club, says Miriam. And not even playing for themselves, just simply not playing, says Marma. It's been a great show tonight, hasn't it? We should do Saturday shows more often. We had a call last year, Wayne, exactly. What are your thoughts on Onana staying for the Wigan game? Well, he's staying for the Spurs game as well, Ashwin. It's not just that. Keyboard Thumper says, United's problem is they only have one dribbler, Garnacho. Running with the ball is not dribbling past players. No one is scared when we have the ball. And Don Morgan says, you're a vocal Erik Ten Hag in supporter through all this. However, what will it take for you to change your opinion on Ten Hag? What needs to happen for you to switch sides? Actually, it's a very good question, that. I actually appreciate that question. It's very good. I'm a Ten Hag in supporter because I don't believe sacking a manager is the right way to go. It's not really about Ten Hag anymore for me. It's more about... I just don't believe sacking a manager does anything. I think it empowers player power to sack another manager and make a manager a scapegoat, when for me, I think the players are more to blame than the manager. I think the lack of structure above the manager is more to blame than the manager. The manager is a component and the manager has to take blame, but I don't think he's the sole blame, so sacking him seems unjust to me. What would it take for me to Ten Hag out? Well, I accept that you could sack him now. I do accept that. I think the results are bad enough to sack a Man United manager. I do. I think if he went out the FA Cup this month, that would add to it. I think, 2 or 3 more losses in the Premier League would add to it. I can't deny that he's already surpassed the level of being sacked. Like, it wouldn't be unjustified to sack him. But I think it would be incredible if they did, because we've done this before. So for me, I'm looking above the manager, and I'm looking at, are we just going to get the same ownership under a different brand, or are we actually going to get genuine change? Because until we get the right infrastructure above the manager, and until we actually cut out the cancer in the dressing room, we won't see any progress. And actually, if I'm being completely honest, the sacking of the manager is minor to me. I don't really care if we do or we don't. I'll be absolutely honest. I don't think it will change anything. I don't think sacking the manager really is the issue at Man United. I think we need to get the structure in above the manager, and we need to root out the toxicity below the manager. And only then will the manager in between have a chance to succeed. So for me, sacking a manager, I don't want to insult people, but it's like painting by numbers. It's just a little bit naive. It's not creative. It amazes me that people think sacking Ten Hag and replacing him will make anything any different. I'm sort of like, where were you when we sacked Van Gaal then? Where were you sacked when we sacked Mourinho? Where were you when we sacked Ollie? We've been here so many times. Got to try something different. That's my stance. Let me just catch up on these. Why is United always in panic and rush into things on field? We never compose ourselves when in possession. Why is that? Is it our coaching or lack of technical players? I think it's the lack of technical players. Sherlock Holmes has just gifted 10 memberships as well. Absolute legend. Mark, did you hear about the kidnapping in Old Trafford today? Thankfully, they woke him up, says Connor. Are we loaning out with cheap buyouts just to replace them with expensive similar level players, says Ray. And since Rashi's tweet at United Stand, has his team tried to reach and influence you, says Mike B? What's a very honest question. There was a conversation after that, immediately after that, in defiance from ourselves, to say that that was taken completely out of context and it was an overreaction, and it was resolved. But there's not any conversation or relationship going on. I mean, at the end of the day, that thumbnail said, "What next for Marcus Rashford?" and Marcus Rashford future in doubt. He was playing badly and his future was in doubt. It was an overreaction by a player out of form to lash out against United fans. And it was ill-advised. But, no harm done. And I just want Rashford, like everyone else, to start playing well for Manchester United. As I've said many times before, I don't really understand the one-upmanship in this fan base and in this club. You're not better than anybody else. Nobody is. And we're all trying to achieve the same thing. And we should be trying to do it collectively. And if you're not performing in a Man United shirt, look in the mirror. Stop blaming other people. Simple as that. I don't think it's that hard. Man United should sign Elise. Can you shout me out? It's his final third podcast. And Tony says, we had a team effort last season. This season, everyone seems to be playing for themselves and in moments. There we go. Anyway, look, it's 9 o'clock. It's been an absolute cracker of a show. Zane says Eriksen's best position is as a cam, so I think he should be on the bench. I think Bruno can play next to Casemiro or Mainu. Interesting. Thanks everyone for watching. You've been absolute legends. This has probably been one of the most enjoyable shows I've done in a very long time. And I don't do Saturday night shows, so it's been absolutely brilliant. I think we need to do more of these. Loved it. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great night, day, or whatever. It's been a legendary show, and I think sometimes the impromptu shows are the best. So, absolute legends, the lot of you. Bloody loved it. Back in the morning at 10 o'clock. Absolute legends. I will speak to you then. Very happy. Thank you.